Chapter 25. Older.
ᴛᴱ gave up on you and stood against you. We were very good friends.
ⴚᴚ proposed to me and I decided to accept her.
ⴚᴚ, you are so beautiful and talented, the foreigners pursuing you can line up from Paris to Madrid. This romantic, fertile soil can also help your photography career grow into a towering tree. Do you really intend to give up everything and return to your country to start over?
However, women in China are still struggling within the constraints of tradition, and I can use my camera to open a window for them to see the world.
Returning to China to spread the most advanced photography culture is my mission and my lifelong pursuit.
You are here again. So noble Meshi is so vulgar.
Well, tell me something you like to hear. The last time I went back to China, I met a friend, regardless of age difference. She is a 16-year-old girl named ɪᴛ'ᴱ.
What? You actually found a new friend behind my back. Tell me, is it better to be with her or with me?
She is different from you. What to eat with children?
I saw her work and her photography talent is amazing. Although she is a young talent, she is not arrogant, she is precocious and worldly wise, which makes people feel sorry for her. Unfortunately, her family background was not good, so she couldn't even get into the outer circle of the photography circle, let alone gain a foothold in the domestic photography industry.
How could I let a child like her be buried? A big part of the reason why I returned to China was to help her.
Then I look forward to seeing you and her standing side by side at the top of photography in the future. When the time comes, don't forget to come to Paris and reunite with me.
I believe there will be this day.
I couldn't wait for this day. That meeting turned out to be our final farewell. You look so much like her. It always reminds me of how high-spirited she was back then.
When I was 6 years old, I lost my parents. I still remember that day. She was wearing a military green shirt and black overalls, carrying a big bag, standing in front of me exhausted. She said she was my grandmother, whom I had never met, and asked me to go with her. I have been following her work. After she had you, her style of work became gentle and calm. It's very different from the beginning.
You are her only descendant. It's time I came to see you. First of all, because I missed her but never saw her again. The second is about your grandma. As long as you want to know, I can tell you. So if you have any questions, just ask.
You said you were a good friend of my grandma. Why did you only know her through her work? Why didn't you contact her directly?
I haven't contacted her again, not because I don't want to, but because I don't dare. You are indeed very similar to her. You always speak sharply and directly, like a sharp sword out of its sheath. There is one thing I guess you may not know. Back then, most of the photography community believed that Fang committed suicide because she couldn't face the scandal that was exposed.
Guilty suicide? Scandal? Wait, that's clearly not what I was told. They said that my grandmother's photography works were too avant-garde and were criticized by the public at that time as being immoral. She couldn't stand the pressure from public opinion and committed suicide due to depression. Scandal? Exposure? How come no one ever told me?
You were too young back then. Who would tell a child the truth?
But that is absolutely not the truth. Whatever the scandal is, it is definitely not true. She is the most honest and brave person in the world.
I know, kid. Of course I know. I'm sorry, I knew that the stigma she suffered was false, but I didn't dare to speak out. So, this time I saw you speak up for ɪᴛ'ʱ, I feel that no matter what, I should stand up this time and stand on the side of justice. Just think of it as atonement for my past self.
You haven't told me what the scandal that my grandmother was exposed about was?
After she returned to China, she quickly supported a group of young photographers. Later, someone broke the news saying that she supported young people only to plagiarize their works and suck their talents. This is not the most fatal thing. Some people say that she is doing this for her body photography career. She did whatever it took to get what she wanted and did nasty things to her apprentices.
Nonsense. It's all nonsense. My grandmother is definitely not that kind of bad person. Who is it? Who framed her like this?
ᴛᴱ and ɪᴛ'ʱ, they.
Did you see it clearly? ᴛᴱ gave up on you and stood against you. Are you ready to take revenge on them, Ellen?